Welcome back aboard Blurred Force One with your boys Mo and Lottie, and this is the Supercast. The Supercast where we talk about all things superhero in our pop culture media. That's movies, TV shows, video games. We talk about the news, do some speculation, all that good nerdy stuff. And before we get into the podcast today, do us a favor, get down there and hit like on this video, and also subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. Show us some love. And if you're listening to us on a podcasting platform, you know what to do. Leave a review, 5 stars if you think that's what we deserve, but whatever, whatever you think is works. So we are, we're in I'll call it an animation kind of renaissance, if you will, because we've got Invincible and X-Men 97 kicking ass on streaming. And of course, we're still waiting for more superhero stuff coming down the pike down the road. But before we get into the news of this week, we got to say hey to our boy Lottie. Lottie, man, how are you today? And what you been up to? That's nerdy.
Oh man, like you just said, I've been watching a lot of Invincible, a lot of X-Men. Playing video games, been playing a lot of Helldivers, Final Fantasy Remake, and looking at a couple of other adult animation, but besides those things, that's really it.
Yeah, I know video games are going kind of hard right now for you. I know Helldivers is still kind of like just your thing. I wish I could say I was playing video games, but I'm really not. I'm usually got my hands in the dirt out in the garden. But as far as nerdy stuff, man, dude, I watched Indiana Jones with my daughter. She's 15. She never watched it. It's very, very interesting to watch stuff that I watched as a kid that I think is like top tier, and seeing someone who is not, has no connection to it, seeing what she thinks about it. It's good times. But also we've been watching, we're working through Avatar: The Last Airbender. That's been awesome. We finally got to the episode with Toph, and she loves the character. Everyone does. And of course, I saw Godzilla X Kong, the New Empire, which is, look, go see it. If you like ridiculous, over top action shit, and you like monsters beating the hell out of each other, it's for you. Don't go to it for story. If you saw Godzilla -1, you were like, this is the sort of Godzilla I want. Don't go to this movie. That you're not getting that. But it's a fun movie. It's really stupid in many ways, but I had a good time with it. I watched the first episode of the Ark. What do they call it? Survival Evolved based animation, and it's pretty good. Like it's very adult. At least the first episode was. So and also I'm still buying action figures. I got my the new DC figure, the Black Atom Smasher figure. So hey, I'm getting my nerd on. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm doing it. And before we get into what we're going to talk about, I do also want to give a shout out to the haters, or just the people that just disagree with us, or having a field day in the comments section on what we talked about Nelson Pelton being a racist piece of shit. And these people took exception. One person in particular took exception with me saying that he's an old rich white guy, which I guess it's woke to, note facts about reality, because he is an old rich white guy. But apparently this person says calling that out means I don't like old, rich, or white people. So, lots of really good, solid critical thinking going on in the comment section. But it is YouTube, so, YouTube comment section full of, Einsteins, of course. But I pretty much have just like, all right, I said what I had to say. Let y'all swim around in the cesspool. Y'all are wrong. He's a racist. He's a sexist. It's pretty clear he fucking said the loud part out loud. And if you want to go and, you know, digitally fillet this guy because he's a rich dude that happens to have shitty opinions like you do you, man. You know, you have at it. But we were telling no lies, I think. And we're probably going to keep talking about this guy because...
And say, why name a movie Black Panther?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's the character's called Black Panther, you dumbass. And they're not watching this video. They watched the Nelson Peltz one in particular, but hey, if you're listening and you left that comment, you're dumb. Why call it Black Panther? The character's literally named Black Panther. Why don't you ask the person that created it? Which is not me. So yeah, this, like I said, shout out to the comment section. Thank you for going out and watching the video, getting mad enough to sit down there and respond to our comments or what we had to say about it, giving us some interaction. YouTube loves that. And if that's the sort of content you want to rage on us on our videos, we'll be happy to make more videos just for you to rage on. I can't wait. Lottie co-signed?
Co-signed.
So anyway, we are going to talk about superhero stuff this week. Not a long list of things, but some interesting and some a bit of an unfortunate news. So we're going to start off with that bit of unfortunate news. Chance Perdomo, who is one of the stars of Amazon's Gen V, passes away at the age of 27, and how that's going to affect the future of that show. We got some rumors about Spider-Man 4, just some rumors, but they are interesting. Florence Pugh shows us a bit of behind the scenes on Thunderbolts. Anthony Mackie talks about creative freedom being in the MCU versus other franchises. The Batman plagiarism lawsuit has a development, and then we're going to review the Spider-Man, Across the Spider-Verse short film called The Spider Within. So all that good stuff should be fun. So Lottie, you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, let's get into it. So, it's I hate having to talk about things like this because, we've talked about people who have passed away. We talk about Carl Weathers and, this past weekend, this isn't superhero related, but Louis Gossett Jr., who's just a legendary veteran actor, passed away at the age of 87 on Friday. But it was a huge surprise to me yesterday to see this come on my news feed, which is that Chance Perdomo dying in a motorcycle accident, 27 years old, really, really young actor on the come up. He's been in some other things, but really we all know him for, at least you and I know him for being in Gen V. I wish I could remember his character's name, but he had telekinesis and his dad was a soup. And, he was the best friend of the character, I wish I could remember the guy's name, the Golden Boy or whatever his name was. So, but he died in a motorcycle accident. So very sudden, a very sudden passing. And I just kind of wanted to just, say, man, that's just sucks. And I don't even want it to say that it sucks because I'm being selfish and I really just want Gen V as soon as possible. Because this has, as you can imagine, kind of halted the production of this show because a main character is dead, like in real life. So how do they write around this or write him out or whatever? How do they make this a part of the show? There's a huge amount of work and thought that needs to go into how they proceed because they have to be sensitive to the fact that a real person has died and that business can kind of take a back seat to just being straight regular human beings with empathy for the family and for the people that are going to miss him. So all that being said, Lottie, I texted you about this. You had a chance to see this and you thought about it. What's your thoughts on the passing of this young man?
Yeah, it's crazy that, like how you just said, young man. It truly is. I can call him a young man now because I am in my 30s, and he passed away at just 25.
Oh, what, 27? But yeah,
27. Still, his life was still his acting career was just getting started, and to see that it just come to an abrupt end, on a motorcycle accident. And it's just I've been noticing this lately. A lot of people have just been hitting motorcycles. Like, I mean, it's it's to the point that it's like I honestly don't even know if it's worth. I know it's a hobby that people like, but it seems that people on the road are not taking the best precautions nowadays. It's like I saw I can't remember a statistic, but something like motorcycle accidents have like skyrocketed in recent, and it just seems and people are just running into them at full head on speed, man. Sending these people 30, 20 feet. Like, makes no sense. I don't know what's going on, but may his soul rest in peace. Like you said, it's there's probably it sucks that the show has to be put on hold for a little bit because it is a great show, but someone lost their life, and I'm sure that there's a lot of people on the on who did the show with him that were like got close to him. They've lost a friend, and there's a family out there that lost a son or a brother or a cousin. May
Yeah.
his soul rest in peace.
Yeah. It's, you know, I, these things happen. People die all the time. And, these celebrities and these actors, they're no different than us in that way that things can just come out of nowhere and take you out. And, riding a motorcycle is, it's riskier than, driving or whatever. But, and I understand, yeah, cyclists are in general, they are in more danger than most any other people. So I really had to check myself when I heard this news because it's weird that I was like, wow, that's horrible. And then I was like, but what about the show? And I was like, what is wrong with me? Like, you ever feel like that when things like this happen? You're like, why was that something that I care about? Like, it's fine. That eventually the show's gonna fucking come back and they'll figure it out. But like, that is a terrible. So I'm sitting up here checking myself, making sure that I'm coming at this with a more human, a more humanist outlook, which is that a young person just cut short. This guy, he was great. I loved him on Gen Z. I really did. Apparently, he's in another show that I didn't really finish. The Chilling It or the Adventure of Sabrina or whatever on Netflix. I'll go check that out and see what's up with him. But this guy he really, I think, brought a lot of humanity and a lot of intensity to his role on Gen V. I was really, really looking forward to what was going to happen in the future with his character. And honestly, I would have loved to see him in other things. I thought he had such a good turn of that. I would want to see him in many other things, and we're just never going to get that because things happen, and he unfortunately was cut down way too soon. It's just sad. That's really what it is. It's just sad when this happens, and I really hope that the people on the show who got to know him, who got to befriend him, who valued him as a coworker and just in their little work family, I hope that they're able to find some way to deal with this in a healthy way, and that they can all come back stronger and really make his impact on their life kind of reflect in the show or just in anything they do. That's all I really want. But it's again, it's unfortunate. He's gone too soon, and I really hate when stuff like this happens. So either way, rest in peace, Chance, and just we're happy we had you when we had you, and we got what we got. We can always look back and really see him shining. I think so. Just if you guys have any comments about that, just let us know and just tell us what you were thinking about him as an actor. So moving on to less somber things, we're going to talk about Spider-Man 4 now. The much talked about. We know that it's coming. We know that Tom Holland is ready to put that suit back on as soon as they got something together. So, of course, just the internet, people are throwing rumors around left, right, and center. So I figured we just talk about these, particularly because they tie into some upcoming MCU projects that we are all anticipating. So first rumor is that the mayor of New York City, Kingpin, he will be the main villain in Spider-Man 4, but he will also be sharing like the villain spot with Scorpion, who, you know, we saw him, but we didn't really get a lot of him in the Homecoming like trilogy. And we saw that last time we saw him, he was in prison, you know, talking to Vulture. But he's got a mad on for Spider-Man, which I like. All right, cool. Also, the other rumor is that Spider-Man's going to be heavily mentioned in Daredevil Born Again series to help set up the film. And the final rumor is that it's going to begin filming in the fall, and they are aiming for December 2025 to release Spider-Man 4. So, Lottie, as usual, rumors. You know what I got to ask you? On Kingpin and Scorpion being the villains of Spider-Man 4, facts or cap?
I'm gonna be 100% honest. I forgot who Scorpion was in because it's been a while since I've seen Homecoming, and I see. Okay, all right, I see who the actor is. Sounds more like facts than cap to me. But if I'll say 50%, 65% facts, 35% cap.
So honestly, I think Kingpin being the villain makes the most sense, because Echoes is setting him up to run for mayor. He's definitely the villain of Daredevil Born Again, and I suspect in Daredevil Born Again he's going to become mayor. So that makes a ton of sense to me, and it also follows on an actual comic book storyline. So cool. I think that's cool. Hey, Scorpion, why not? I'll take that. I'll take facts on that. How about him being mentioned a lot in Daredevil to set him up for Spider-Man 4? Facts or cap?
Facts.
Yeah.
I'll take it as facts.
Yeah, I will also agree. I think it makes sense. Like the thing about it is it's like very cheap. Like it's very cheap setup. You know, you don't even need a credit scene. You don't need Spider-Man to show up. You don't need any of that. Even though it would be dope for the final episode of Daredevil Born Again, if you saw, you know, somebody in a Spider-Man suit roll up and then Tom Holland's voice being like, "Hey," yeah, like, "Hey, let's take this dude down." Like, if they do that, you can pretty much guarantee the internet's gonna blow up. Like, because one of the things is that the Netflix Marvel shows are canon, but you wouldn't know it because none of the MCU movie people ever show up in any of that stuff. And so we've seen Daredevil show up in, you know, Echo, and we saw him show up in Spider-Man, you know, No Way Home. So it would be nice if there was a kind of something like that in reverse for Born Again, but we'll see. Do you think it's going to come out in December 2025?
That is 100. That is 120% cap. That is massive cap. That is cap with like 5 exclamation points. Hell no. You're telling me that thing's gonna come out in a year and a half? Get the fuck out of here. Video games don't come out that quick. Get the out of here. You need to add one more year, or maybe even 2. If you put 2027, oh, I believe it. 2025, get the fuck out of here. Ain't no damn way.
I don't even know that the script is done, but like filming in December or filming in the fall. So basically, in order for this to be true, fall would have to be September. In order for December 2025 to be hit, but let's really examine it. So if they need to start filming in the fall, that means the script needs to be done. Let's see, what is it? April? So April, May, June, July. So the script would need to be done in the next 6 weeks, basically. because you remember you got pre-production. Pre-production needs time. They need time to figure out everything they need to actually start filming this thing. So if they want to start filming in September, they need about 2.5 months ish to do pre-production, assuming they weren't already doing stuff while the script was being finalized. But even if they were, they need a couple months on it. So you're talking about script needs to be done mid-May. Pre-production needs to be done by August. Filming is probably 3 months, right? So you're talking about September, October, November, maybe that, and you want it to come out in December. So that gives you 1 year to do to do editing and post on it. Which, let me say, I'm gonna say cap also on this, but I'm only just so, and this for this reason. You need a lot of post-production on something like that's really effects heavy, like digital effects heavy. But they're talking about making Spider-Man more ground level based, right? More like he was in the in the Toby and Andrew series, where yes, there were a lot of CG, but it wasn't as hugely CG because it was a lot more practical, or person in a suit doing stuff and not so much digitizing him. And you remember, he doesn't have the Iron Man suit anymore. He just has a suit that he just puts on. So they don't have to CG all of that tech on there. They don't have to CG all that stuff. This Scorpion, I suspect, they will have to mocap him, but I suspect the Scorpion is going to be a lot less CG heavy, like the Rhino was in the Amazing Spider-Man 2. So, given all of that, given that it's supposed to be more street-based, so it's going to be less CG intensive, a year is not unreasonable to go from, finished filming to a finished product. I think. So, I like I said cap, but only just so. I think they actually could do it in a year if they really put their minds to it and they really make a big deal out of it. And also, if the fucking script and story is locked and they follow it. Because remember, they also have to do reshoots. They almost certainly are going to do reshoots. In fact, I'm not even going to say almost. They are certainly going to do reshoots. And they won't know that how many reshoots and how much they need to reshoot until they're in the midst of the edit. And the edit could be months in before they be like, oh, I need reshoot. Because how many times have you seen something they're like, oh, they're going back for reshoots, and it's been half a year since they finished filming, right?
Yeah.
So this, again, if they really, really push it, really go hard at making sure that they can make this the December deadline, they could do it. But they have got, man, everything's got to be right. Because any fuck ups, the story ain't working, any extensive reshoots, forget it. It's not gonna.
So
it's not gonna happen.
So it's cap.
So I said cap, but only just so they could do it, but it's stretching. It's stretching the bounds of credulity. Let's say that. So anyway, we'll see. We're gonna keep an eye on this. I'm sure Daniel Rickman or Daniel RP, whatever those people, they're probably gonna say some more stuff, and we'll let you guys know any official news when it comes out. Lottie. This is some red meat for you, my friend. I saw this on Instagram and Threads, and I thought of you, and so I just really want to talk about it. Let's just say, Florence Pugh is great. I love her, like without reservation. Love her. She is one of my favorite new additions to the MCU. But beyond that, she's really great and pretty much everything. We just saw her in Dune Part 2. I thought she was excellent. But also, she not frequently, but she has a YouTube channel where she just cooks, because apparently she grew up around food, around restaurants and stuff, and she loves to cook. And so, she's just a cool person. And I like watching her do things and everything like that. So, much to my surprise, she posted an Instagram reel behind the scenes on Thunderbolts. She's in Atlanta right now, and like with everyone else, filming Thunderbolts. And she just kind of did it behind the scenes from her phone. And almost certain that this is a planned bit of PR, but it could not have been. I don't know. Who knows? But we watched this, and she basically revealed some things, like really small things, nothing huge and groundbreaking, but some things. So one of them is she was walking to set in a new kind of like combat outfit, which I mean, it basically looks like her white combat outfit, but like gray or something. She also went up to where the director and one of the editors, I guess, were watching stuff on a monitor. So we got to see a little bit of footage of her on a monitor where she's just pointing her gun at something. Who knows what that is? We also saw a bit of the set, and she was like, "Oh, can I show this? It's very small, like a doorway, but it looks. Some people saying it looks like a vault or something like that." And we saw one of the little chairs, and it had the title of the movie, and it said Thunderbolts, and there was an asterisk. So people are like, "Is that the new title? The new official title?" And so that was pretty much everything. And one of my last things is like, why is she just so hot and awesome? Like, I'm serious. When you watch this reel, like her personality comes through. I don't know if you ever watch her interviews or watch her cooking show. She has a certain personality, and I just find it just like it's just endearing. I like her a lot, and also it just reminds me of what I liked about Yelena. The last time I rewatched Hawkeye, and I was like, yeah, Yelena's the best, and I love her. So anyway, Lottie, I've been talking a lot. This was for you, my friend, because I know how you feel about Florence Pugh. What'd you think about this reel and the things we're sort of gleaning about Thunderbolts from it?
Listen, when I was watching the new Doom movie, I was with a date. I had to calm down because I ain't gonna lie. She was, man. I caught myself.
You don't get in trouble.
Oh, she's fine. And I was like, oh.
You were about to get in trouble.
I was like, let me calm down, because she was looking good in that movie, man. Every time I sat up, every time she got up. But yes, yeah, you could tell she's one of those actors/actresses that actually like really enjoys what she's doing. She enjoys being the character. She gets really into it, and that's cool. Because I always felt that one of the, and probably in my opinion, the best thing about Hawkeye was her just showing up and just being like, by the way, I'm Florence Pugh. No, I'm not. I am not the other character. I forgot the character's name in the show, in the canon of the MCU. But basically, I'm Florence Pugh. Everybody else, back up. It's time for me to steal the show.
Yeah, I love her. She's great, but again, the things, the kind of, like I said, it's tidbits. But Thunderbolts has a new title. Like, what do you think? What are the significance of that asterisk on it? I wonder. Like, do you think you have any idea, or is this just like they're just being weird?
I have no idea. I think it's like he's just being weird. I have no idea.
They said people were speculating that the vault set possibly could be Sentry, like Sentry being kept in a vault.
Sentry?
We know he's going to be in it, so.
Yeah, probably. You know what? It might be. They might have. So it's called Thunderbolts. They might be doing that in Sentry. I don't know.
Yeah. That's the thing is, this was such a good little bit of marketing because it didn't show us anything, right? It didn't show us anything we couldn't have guessed at. Oh, Yelena's going to be pointing a gun fiercely at somebody. Surprise, right? She's got a combat outfit on. Oh, okay, yeah, fine, why not? She's rocking the short blonde do. Cool, like. Oh, Florence Pugh's gonna look great in character again. Nothing we didn't already know, and yet I watched this and I was like, hell yeah! Like they're making this thing happen. I can't wait. And she is. Remember, like people were like, she's going to be leading the team. And I'm like, yes, please. And can I have plenty more of that? I'm really looking forward to it. That's all I'm saying. Like, this didn't tell us a damn thing of use, and yet I'm so glad she did. Honestly, I hope they keep doing stuff like this. This is the sort of thing they need to do to gin up interest in the movies, the projects going forward, especially these ones that are pretty much unknown to people. Because I think we're at a point in the MCU's history in this post Endgame era where just being in the MCU isn't good enough. So you kind of got to do these things to put it on the radar so that people know, hey, this is an MCU thing. You should go check this out. And it doesn't hurt to have a person like Florence Pugh, who is, has endeared herself to audience members, to kind of just put it on people's radar. That's all I'm saying. So either way, we'll keep an eye on this while they're filming. Hopefully we'll get some behind the scenes stuff, and we will share it all with you when and if that happens. So staying on the MCU, Anthony Mackie saying some controversial things, or did he? That it's controversial depending on where you're getting your news from. But he was talking to the Radio Times, which I think is in the UK. They were talking about what was it? Twisted Metal is finally streaming in the UK. I don't know why it wasn't, because it's been out for like 8 months or something on Peacock. But either way, so he's talking to the Radio Times about it, and they were asking him about, creative freedom, Marvel versus this Twisted Metal thing. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is I first noticed it from on Threads when people were posting, because of course it's a small short message, but they posted a snippet of what he said, and I wanted to talk about not just what he said, but the way people frame things for clicks and clickbait, if you will. So it said, Anthony Mackie said, this is the post. Anthony Mackie said, there's not much creative freedom in the MCU. The quote is, quote, that's the hard thing about the Marvel Universe. It's like you can't really go outside of the lines of those comic books. End quote. And then they post a link to the actual interview. Now, Lottie, that's the post. And a very similar posts were going around from other, social media for different websites and whatever that cover these sorts of things. Now, Lottie, if you read that, what is your thought? What is your first thought reading that of that Anthony Mackie was saying?
Oh, he's speaking 100% facts, because comparing the creative freedom of the MCU to a game that literally has no storyline until like halfway through the series, and it's not even really a storyline, that's just facts. You could do almost anything with the story of Twisted Metal. Like if someone went like, why are you messing with the story of Twisted Metal? What story, bro? It's literally just a bunch of serial killers trying to kill each other.
Yeah. Well, what I mean by that is it sounds like he's saying there is no creative freedom in the MCU. Right? That's what it sounds like, just from that one sentence. And the way these little posts are sort of framing it like that, and we keep seeing shit like this happen. A whole interview with lots of, questions and lots of, deep responses and everything like that being boiled down to one fucking sentence to sound a certain way. And because I don't know if you find this true, but I feel like this is what's going on. It's fashionable right now amongst certain people to shit on the MCU. And I don't mean like, oh, I didn't like this movie, but not only do I not like the movie, I don't like the way they make movies. I don't like the creative in fact, they're stifling the creative process. They're not, there's all this stuff, all these supposed experts on how to make movies on the internet talking about how the Marvel method is, making people that make the movies, it's silencing them or something. That's what you get from that. And it's clickbait, and it's ridiculous because, look, yes, there are notes and they have to follow. Yes, you have to follow certain things, but they don't get if they just could put any director in there and move on and then make them make the movie exactly the way they want it. There's no point to just shopping around for great directors. You put anybody in there. That's not what's going on. And to that point, I want to actually read off more of what he said in that. And I didn't listen to the interview. But the article that the interview is based on, does go deeper into what he was saying. So what he actually said was, he said, and they were asking about creative freedom. He said, I would say the Marvel thing is completely different just because it's such a space of controlled entertainment. Like there's only so much you can do. There's only so much creativity you can bring to the table because Stan Lee gave us so much content. Whereas with Twisted Metal, it was like there's a guy and a girl, go. So we were really able to build the world around it. He goes on to say, and that's the hard thing about the Marvel Universe. It's like you can't really go outside the lines of those comic books. And then he also says, he said, when we introduced the Falcon and the growth of the Falcon to Captain America, all of that had to coincide with what Stan had already given us. So it's interesting juggle to be part of that world. And this Twisted Metal is more like, let's just have fun and figure it out as we go. So that's a fuller context to what he said versus that one little sentence that has almost no context. And it's like, so Lottie, you hear the more of what he had to say. It seems to be more in line with what you were talking about, right?
Yeah.
It bothers me. Like, he's not shitting on the MCU creative process. He's saying they have really well-defined stories and well-defined characters, right? And trying to just do your own thing with them doesn't work because they're well-defined. There's no reason to just trying to make shit up with them. Whereas with Twisted Metal, the story is barely there at all. We can kind of do whatever. And there's something good to be said about both of those things. But I guarantee you, if they try to do the Twisted Metal thing with Marvel, nerds will be crying like babies about it. We already seen that in the MCU when they make small changes that work better in live action than in the comics. And people lose their fucking minds. So, like, it's just weird. I feel like these people want it both ways. They want to be able to shit on Marvel for not, for being a lot more controlled about the creativity and in terms of the storytelling, but they also want to shit on Marvel, for following too closely or whatever. It's like they want to just be able to say Marvel sucks no matter what. Is that a fair assessment?
I mean, it's not even just certain people. I'm starting to see mainstream talk bad about Marvel. It's just right now, Disney's just the punching bag of the Disney and DC are kind of like the punching bag of the superhero thing right now, and they kind of got to clean their face. DC more than Marvel, but Marvel is in that little thing to where people literally have to not just think about it. How many times have you had to reaffirm how good X-Men 97 is to people to watch it?
I've told people in real life about it.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. In real life, that you've told them that it's good, and then you go oh, I was watching X-Men 97. They're like, it's really that good? Yeah, it's that good. It's because people are automatically think that if Marvel comes out with something, it's not good. Because that's just the public perception, unfortunately, right now.
Which is fucking weird to me, because what bad have they really got? I mean, Ant-Man, maybe. I don't think it's terrible, but the Marvels. The more I see people post about it online, they're like, actually, this is good. Why did I not see this? Right? But Marvel doesn't have they don't have enough of bad track record to justify this negativity. Almost I would say in its totality, Marvel hits about 80% of the time. in the last, 3-4 years, I think they've hit about 70% of the time. Right. So they're still anything that has a 70% hit ratio is doing well. Like they're, for the most part, most everything you watch from the MCU or from Marvel is good, or at least it's entertaining. So this idea that Marvel, anything they put out should be suspect from the beginning, there's no good reason for it except a certain segment of fandom or in the media making it out that since they hit home runs so many times, hitting a single or double is just not good enough. Like if you're so this is an old reference, but when Sammy Sosa was going for the home run record, like in baseball, anytime he went up to bat and he didn't hit a home run, people were like, "Oh, right." Even if he hit a double or drove runs in, the fact that he didn't hit a home run, people are all disappointed as if he fucked up. And I'm like, he's doing his job. Like the fact that he doesn't get home runs all the time, that's not a function of his ability as a player. It's that home runs are actually hard to do. And the fact that someone can do something that's really hard consistently for a little while is in no way a reflection on their ability as a player when they are no longer able to do that really hard thing consistently. And like, you get what I'm saying? It's hitting home runs is really fucking hard. Getting a 98% rated movie is hard, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that they were able to get a bunch of movies to be highly rated or highly audience rated in a string does not mean that later when they get lower audience ratings that they're fucking up. It just means that they're coming back down to just like normal output. Yeah. And I know it sounds like I'm being a Marvel apologist, but the truth is, if you look at their Rotten Tomatoes, if you look at their box office, yes, it's less than Phase 3 of the MCU. Yes, it is. Undeniably, it's less, but it's still really fucking good. Like this idea that Marvel's fallen off really is like Sammy Sosa instead of hitting, 50, 60, 70 home runs, he hits 30 in the season. Oh, he fell off. He's still hitting 30 home runs. I don't get it. I do get it, but it's weird. So anyway, I think Anthony Mackie said nothing wrong. He's just telling it like it is. As a person that's worked in both of these situations, and I think Marvel's fine. So hey, good on you, Anthony Mackie. Just keep on saying the truth, man. So anyway, if we got any more information about that, we'll let you guys know. A short little thing here. I didn't even know this was going on, but I think I maybe heard about it. Lottie, did you know that some screenwriter had sued DC for plagiarism? That he said that the Batman, the one from a couple years ago, that it plagiarized a script that he had written back in the 90s. And so he was suing Warner Brothers Discovery because he said that they had read his script and they basically stole his ideas. So that being said, the judge dismissed it because he's like, there's not enough evidence that anyone even saw your script, much less copied it. And the judge went on to say, and also, by the way, it looks like you were actually violating their copyright because you used a lot of their copyrighted materials to make this thing that this script. And so it's all over. But Lottie, did you even know about this?
No. I wrote the script in the 90s.
The Batman stole all of it. I really wish I could get a hold of the final judgment so I can know exactly why he was saying this. But let's be honest here. Batman stories are pretty straight. I don't want to say straightforward, but like there's a pretty straight, pretty simple line running through what a Batman story is mostly like. And so I can't imagine that this script was so specific that he could be like, yeah, they definitely stole this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
to put that in perspective, recently there was another this other writer was talking, and I forget the movie, but he was talking about a movie that came out recently that was very popular, successful, and how I know what it was. It was The Holdovers, which is a movie that was nominated for an Oscar, and the best supporting actress actually was won by one of the actors in that movie. And he was like, "Look, look, if you compare the script of this movie to this other script that I wrote and was going to be made into something, but it never got made, you compare them. If you run them through like a text comparison, it's literally lifting whole sentences or whole scenes or anything straight from mine and into this one." And so he's trying to figure out, he's trying to get some relief for that. But he has evidence that yes, whole parts of this are in this other script. So apparently that's not what happened with this one. It's just like, oh, there's some similar themes and there's some similar characters and all this other stuff. And I just have to ask myself, and I really want to know what the lawyer for this guy was thinking about, because I'm like, all right, so what is there's some secret stuff. Batman has to do some detective work. There's a guy in a costume. Like, what is it that's so special about your script that it's similar in that the Batman would have stolen? Now, Lottie, I mean, I cannot think of what it could be.
Man, it is still anything. That man was just trying to get a quick buck. But please believe me. Please believe me.
Not the Dave Chappelle. Now it's just like, here's the thing is I tend to try to believe, like, I'm not shilling for Warner Brothers Discovery or anything. I just genuinely want to know what he was saying was so similar or whatever. Because I love the Batman. I know you are a big fan of it too. I think it's a great movie, but it's not overflowing with originality. I have to say,
No.
it's a pretty run of the mill Batman story as far as I could tell. It's where it shines. It's in the characters and how the characterization. But a lot of the story beats are very much in line with pretty common Batman stories and Batman tropes. So I cannot imagine that this guy wrote anything like if this is a run of the mill Batman story, what could you have possibly written that was so specific that for sure this is plagiarized? I just want to know. I'm curious. I don't know. It's a very simple Batman story. So anyway, that's been thrown out, and this guy better be careful because he might get sued by WB Discovery just for wasting their fucking time. So
Oh yeah.
if that happens, I want to see it. I want to see that not because I want to see someone destroyed. I just be like, you gotta be careful. You gotta make sure you're on point. And as the kids say, in this case, he may be caught lacking. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, if something comes from it, we'll let you guys know. So that leads us to our final segment. We're gonna do a review. It's gonna be a short review because this was a short film. But this was a short film that was, I want to say it was made a year ago or something like that. It was on the festival circuit. A short film within the Spider-Verse continuity. It's all about Miles Morales and dealing with, I want to say it's panic or being overwhelmed. It's a mental health thing, essentially. But it takes place between Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse. And it's called The Spider Within a Spider-Verse Story. And it's really kind of about, Miles dealing with anxiety and being overwhelmed by his responsibilities as Spider-Man, and also his real life responsibilities and how they're just kind of like clashing, and trying to figure out how to deal with it. So Lottie, you watched it. What did you think about this short film?
Oh, I liked it. It was excellent. Excellent. I mean, I remember watching it. I was just like, wow. Like, I wish it was a little bit longer. Like, it shows a little of his anxiety that he tried to defeat the inner spider in him and he can't. And it's just like the thing how he just wishes he could talk to his dad about it, but he can't. So he has to make it seem like he's talking about a girl. It's just, 'cause- because for you to understand this, you have to watch the Into the Spider-Verse movies. If you haven't watched the Into the Spider-Verse movies, this movie will come off as, I mean, this like short film will come off as like confusing. But when you have watched it, you understand what Miles is going through because he in his universe, he's literally like what, probably the only hero.
It seems like it. It does seem like it.
So it's like he has no one to talk to or relate with. And it's just like it's, yeah, man, really good. Wish it was a little bit, I wish it was just like maybe 7, 8 more minutes longer. But good job.
Yeah.
Good job, Sony, for continuously making Spider-Man.
Yeah. You know, honestly, I don't want to say I was avoiding it. I just kept not watching it. And I finally watched it like probably about an hour ago. And yeah, my first thought was, I was like, God damn, I love the Spider-Verse movies. Like, I really, really love Into and Across the Spider-Verse. I love the character of Miles Morales. I love his dad. I all of that. It's because it really is, you know, him and his dad really in there. Brian Tyree Henry, by the way, um, he is just he's so great as the dad in this. Shamik Moore, he again is great as Miles. I didn't realize how much I wanted to be back in that world. You know what I'm saying? Just watching the animation, I was like, God, I want to just be back in this world again. It really like quite beyond, like we can talk about the themes of the thing, but just from an artistic standpoint, it really reminds me that, you know, the Spider-Verse movies are the best Spider-Man that's going straight up right now. I honestly better than the Tom Holland Spider-Mans. By the way, I love the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. I do.
Yeah, it is better. Into the Spider-Verse is better.
Tom Holland's my favorite Peter Parker Spider-Man. I think Miles is my favorite actual Spider-Man now. But and I love the other two series too. I'm a huge fan. Look, make no bones about it. I am a huge Spider-Man fan. He's probably my favorite superhero. Which it fluctuates between him and Black Panther, and I have a good understanding of the character. Miles not as much. And just watching this, I was like, God, this is it. This is Spider-Man. And in 20 years, you know, one thing is in 20 years, Across the Spider-Verse, that's going to be, you know, Gen Z Spider-Man, right? They're going to be online doing video essays talking about the impact of Spider-Verse on their childhood and stuff like that. I mean, I can't wait. So all that being said, the actual short itself, too goddamn short. It's too fucking short. How dare you? How dare you lay out this delicious, delectable tidbit and be like, nope, not anymore. Talk about, I'm hungry. Damn it, Lottie, I'm hungry for more Spider-Verse. And they have the nerve to give me this little potato chip. God damn it. Yeah. It's delicious. It's a wonderful potato chip. But boy, like Pringles, I can't just eat one, man. I want more.
Yes.
Oh man. It beautifully deals with anxiety and panic attacks and things like that. And you know, him having to deal with all of the pressure of being Miles Morales and the pressure of being Spider-Man and the pressure of keeping it all separate and secret and everything like that. But like the Spider-Verse movies, it goes back to Miles' strength, which is by far his family. Like his family, his connection to his father is super strong. And like seeing him, like in the movie, in the little movie, he's just like, I just got to be alone and decompress. And so his dad's got a movie night for him, and he just kind of disappoints his dad because he just wants to be alone. And his dad is just kind of doing his, watching a movie without him, and he has his panic attack. And then when he kind of comes out of it, and he realizes like, I need to actually lean on this person who always will be there for me to lean on. And he goes out and asks his dad to go for a walk so they can talk. And that's it. That's the end of the short. And there could be so much. In a way, I'm glad they don't show the talk, but I really wanted to see the talk also. Like, am I wrong about that? Like, I'm glad I didn't see it, but I wish I did see it.
I kind of wish I did see it, but I see what you're saying. We all know if you've watched the Miles Morales, I mean the Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse movie, you already know what the conversation is, So yeah, it's one of the best things. One of the best things, like you just said, is his family, and to depict it so well that even though he thinks that he just needs time alone to decompress, his decompression is spending time with his parents.
Yeah. And the strength of that father-son bond I think is really important. Like we talk a lot, I think we don't talk a lot about it on here, but there's a little too much of absent black fathers in popular media. A little too much of that. And so it's nice that, well, actually, no, he's got a great relationship with his dad. And actually, his dad does listen, and he's not domineering. He is 100% in Miles's corner. Like, there's all of this stuff. That relationship between him and his dad is just, it's beautifully rendered. And also, I just want to say the acting in this is great. The voice acting is, of course, top. But I'm talking about the actual animation. The animators are just putting in heart and soul into these characters. To the point where I don't even know that I want to see them in live action because I feel like I'd be disappointed. I mean, again, do you think I'm being fair there?
I feel like if they're going to do live action, they can't follow. They can't do the Across the Spider-Verse story. They have to do the video game like story where Spider-Man, where Peter Parker is pretty much like his father figure.
Yeah, I'm just like, the animation is so good, and the facial expressions and all, like the facial emoting is just so good that I was like, dang, this is hitting me pretty hard actually. All of this stuff that he's going through in this panic attack, and the way the dad sort of reacts to him asking to talk and all, it's top notch act. That's all I'm saying. I could go on. Like, for being only a really, really short thing, I think this is a very impactful little short. And just, it really does build out the Spider-Verse story and universe in a way that's a lot more meaningful than adding lore or something or adding villains. This is adding emotional depth to a story that I think already was pretty deeply emotional storyline. So, I mean, it's very impactful to me in that term. And I feel like, Lottie, it sounds to me like it's very similar for you.
Oh yeah, especially after losing my mom. It's really just me. It's just me, my brother, and my dad. So I know what it means to have a very strong bond with my dad. And even though there's times where I go through things in my life, I feel like I just need to just not talk about it. But then I end up finally just opening up and talking to my dad. I end up finding out that, wow, why didn't I just do it earlier? Like, look how easy that was. I feel much better. So
yeah. So I think just overall we both really liked it, and I hope we get more stuff like this. I know they don't make any money off of these things, but it really is nice to see this sort of artistry on display, and that's in the comic book genre. So anyway, I hope you guys get a chance to check this out and let us know what you think about it. So That's all of our news, all of our topics for this week. But I'm sure we missed some things that we just didn't talk about, some stuff, whatever the case may be. And if you, of course, if you have something to say, a comment, suggestion, whatever, you know what to do. Get down to the comment section, leave your thoughts there. And of course, you can always hit us up, supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com. It's blurred_force1 on Instagram and on Threads, super_not_funny show on TikTok. And while you're doing all that, get down there, hit like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. All that good stuff helps to grow this channel, helps more people to see this podcast and the other videos that we do. And of course, I can't make this podcast by myself. Need my good friend Lottie with all of his insight to just really make this podcast what it is. So Lottie, where can they reach you on social media?
You can always find me on my Instagram and my YouTube, which are both conveniently named Anukiniun. Again, it's Anukiniun, ANUKINIHUN. Again, it's ANUKINIHUN. I'm working on a new animation for my Instagram, which I really think a lot of people will like. I pretty much dropped the teaser of one of the redesign of the characters earlier today, and also my YouTube channel is just full of content for any of you guys who want to watch. I have just dropped more Helldiver episodes. I have Helldiver episodes that can last all the way until the end of more Helldiver content that will drop each day all the way until halfway through April. So can't say I've listened to the people. I've filled my YouTube channel up with content. So please give me a like, a subscription, or follow.
Yeah, go show Lottie some love. Comment on his videos where he's diving, what do they call it, diving for freedom.
Yes.
Or I like to say dying for freedom, because it seems like there's an awful lot of that going on in those videos. I sometimes I want to get into Helldivers, and I'm just like, do I have the time for that? But it looks fun. Looks fun and stressful. So you guys go check that out. Show Lottie some love. Show us some love. Lottie, we are nearing 300 subscribers. Like, we've been, I don't want to say grinding, but we've been at this for a few years. But, you know, slowly but surely we're getting ourselves up to 300 subscribers. Hopefully that'll happen in the next few weeks. If the algorithm is nice to us, if you guys like what we're doing, if you let people know. So, show some love. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't. So anyway, we have coming up this week, we have the season finale of Invincible. We got more X-Men 97, and I'm sure we're going to learn a lot more about the upcoming movies and TV shows, superhero related. So we'll talk about that then. Till then, I've been Mo, your comment extraordinaire on all things pop culture, joined by the anime expert, video game designer, lover of all things superhero, my good friend Lottie. And we'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.
Peace.